Welcome to
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
If you have questions or comments, we have multiple ways we can be reached. Twitter is, of course, the best way for those that need instant gratification, and the show's Twitter feed is at SKiMPod, SKiMPod.
Stays Crunchy.
For the more patient amongst you, the email address for the show is podcast@stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Crunchy again being spelled with a K.
Crunchy.
Hey, feel free to give us a call at 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311.
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
We're available by Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, anywhere fine podcasts are available. And of course, it's the website, stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share wherever possible, including on YouTube, where we can now be found at Stays Crunchy. And over on Twitch, we're still Stays Crunchy and Milk. Our personal Twitters are
Tatum 216,
Lunchbox 2099,
The Real ODP.
And I'm your host, the Internet's Tayrell 713.
Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy, Stays Crunchy.
I'm out to bomb like Vietnam under the same name Tame One, the bad what ink flow master bastard with the magnum. I tags up quick and then I steps to the exit when it's time to get cested or flex on some fresh shit. Some whack crook stole my black book. I know who took it. I know his whole tag because the bag writes his name crooked. The ink I use might stink, but you gotta think I got my props hops because my tags don't shrink. I'm tagging and bagging bitches because my name is famous in the street. Because they know my name's from cruising in this Jeeps. So yo, grab a can and put your man up and stand up for the fresh, never stale niggas off the third rail. Deep, dark, and black like the Magnum I pack. It's the artifacts chat from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts is from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts is from the wrong side. Hello, welcome to it. It's Stays Crunchy Milk. It's episode 470.
man.
And we're taking this baby down to West Virginia. I'm your host, Tatum 713. Joined as always by my best friends, it's Tatum 216.
West Virginia, sweet home.
And the homie Lunchbox 2099.
Would you get out my shit? Please let me be. I don't see why you KGB. Why you gotta be all up on me like that? Trying to get over like a fat rat. But I understand. I'm a woman in the land of hip hop. And the shit don't stop. It goes on, on. You see, the shit don't stop till the break of dawn. And now who makes it liver than a hip-hop scuba diver? Liver, okay. Chilling with a pina colada. Kadada hooked me up with Tommy. Now I got a lot of gear. From everywhere that I'd like to share. But I'd rather do Connie. Don't ask why. 5001, my son gets shit done. All on the catwalk. What they've ever done for you. You better get down with your real crew. Cause I ride the beat and I ride it well. And if you take a look, it ain't hard to tell that I cold rock a party in the B-girl stance.
I must know who that was.
That was MC Light.
Oh,
I rock the party who rock the party. So, the lyrics I started you off with this week were from Tame One, and Elder Sensei were in a group called The Artifacts. And Brick City's own Tame One, and also Brick City's own Hurricane G, went on to glory this week. Both of them 52 years old, far too young to be having left us. And
they both passed in the same week?
They passed the same day, same night. Tame One seems to be, from what has come out, seems to be a medicine situation. The medicine he was taking interacted functionally with something else. Hurricane Gloria died from cancer.
Okay.
And I absolutely love both of these individuals. I love the Artifacts. I love Hurricane G was everywhere if you was down with some Def Squad, Boom Squad, and Artifacts Make 3, because she was riding with Eric Sermon and Redman and them. As it turns out, which I find out after her passing, Eric Sermon's oldest daughter was with Hurricane G. And if you loved vintage Redman, she was all over them shits, man. And I feel terrible for him because Tame One was also his cousin. And so, like I said, he was super tight with like those people. I listened to Juan Eppa's Life podcast, and Rosenberg said he reached out to Redman. He said Redman is actually Redman in general in life is doing really well as he got older, and he seems to be taking it well. These two losses from his life, and I feel terrible for her. I'm sorry to their to their families and friends and loved ones and their fans, man. Rest in paradise, Tame One and Hurricane G. You were something amazing. Also, I mean, we didn't get to talk about it because I guess it happened either just before we recorded or just after we recorded. But Takeoff from why is that not coming to me? What? Migos, yeah, was shot and killed down in Houston, and 28 years old, far too. All these people far too young to have been called on home, and you just feel terrible for it. But like I said, blessings up to them and their families, their loved ones. So, in a direct opposite, completely flipped. Let's walk away from that. Can we give it up one time for Ash Ketchum? Yes, Ash Ketchum, who it was announced or it came out today. If you watch the anime, that Ash Ketchum today became the very best, like no one ever was, when his Pikachu defeated Leon's Charizard and he won the Pokemon Championship. Ash Ketchum indeed is the best that ever was. Props up to him, man.
Today is like the first day Pokemon.
No, that cartoonist has been on for all these 25 years. Today is the first time Ash has actually won.
Oh.
He's beat gyms, he's what and so forth. He's done all kinds of things, but he has never won the championship. And today he did. And we must honor that. Big up Ash Ketchum and his mom and her Mr. Mom companion. I'm sure they're all proud. If you know, you know. We are remote, which means I got a news story. I actually got a couple of news stories for you. We'll talk about some life shit and then just remember the assholes, and we'll posse on up out of this bad boy. It's relatively breezy, people. I swear to you. When this show was going to be done in person, I normally don't pull news stories because we're doing it in person. But time got away from us. But we got a couple of good bangers if you're on the Patreon. But this news story, I was like, we got to talk about this. This is wild. It was such a wild news story that I pulled it to do on an in-person show, and now of course it fits like a glove for a remote show. So this is Nicholas Rossi. Arrested man is missing U.S. fugitive, court rules. A man arrested this is from the BBC, and of course they don't have bylines. A man arrested in a Scottish hospital last year is U.S. fugitive Nicholas Rossi, a court has ruled. The man had claimed to have been the victim of mistaken identity and insisted his name was Arthur Knight. What do y'all do with that name, Arthur Knight?
I don't know.
Is that their version of Is that their version of like John Doe?
No. I think this man is a moron who tried to go with the name Arthur Knight, which is basically the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, and he is a moron. That's all that comes down to. And I laughed so hard when I read that first little line. Let me continue. But Edinburgh Sheriff Court heard that his tattoos and fingerprints match those of Rossi. Authorities in the U.S. are seeking Rossi's extradition over allegations of rape and sexual assault. It is alleged that he faked his own death and fled to Scotland to escape prosecution. He had spent the past year insisting he was Arthur Knight, an orphan from Ireland who had never even been to the U.S. He claimed that he had been given distinctive tattoos matching those arms of Rossi while he was lying unconscious in a Glasgow hospital in an attempt to frame him. But after a 3-day hearing, Sheriff Norman McFadden said, I am ultimately satisfied on the balance of probabilities that Mr. Knight is indeed Nicholas Rossi, the person sought for extradition by the United States. Sheriff McFadden, forgive me, it's a Scottish name, Fadyen, Fadyen, rejected Rossi's claim that he had been the victim of mistaken identity as implausible and fanciful, and said that his repeated name changes were highly suspicious and consistent with someone who was hiding
That's
from
suspicious.
someone or something. He will now face an extradition hearing in March when the Scottish courts will decide whether to send him back to the U.S. to stand trial on the allegations against him. Rossi was arrested by Police Scotland last year after staff at Queen Elizabeth University Hospital recognized his tattoos, images of which had been circulated by Interpol while he was being treated for COVID. Fingerprint expert Lisa Davidson told the court that prints taken from the man claiming to be Arthur Knight after his arrest were identical to those of Rossi, which were included on a U.S. extradition request and the Interpol red notice. But Rossi claimed the fingerprints had been meddled with and taken from him by an NHS worker called Patrick on behalf of David Levitt, a Utah County lawyer. Advocate Deputy Paul Harvey dismissed his claims as entirely outlandish and bizarre. Rossi's accent had changed several times while he was giving evidence. A series of earlier hearings in the case had seen Rossi sack at least 6 lawyers and claimed to have been tortured in prison. His wife, Miranda Knight, 41, gave evidence to the court during the hearing and said her husband had given no indication that he was really Nicholas Rossi. What? This dude got married? Holy smokes. Rossi's marriage certificate was shown to the court, which had been signed under the name Nicholas Brown. What is even going on now? The court was told on Wednesday that U.S. prosecutors submitted additional extradition requests over an allegation of rape in Salt Lake City, another over an allegation of sexual assault against Rossi. Rossi, who appeared in court in a wheelchair, was already fighting an extradition request by authorities in Utah who alleged he raped a 21-year-old woman in the state in 2008. He had previously been convicted of sexually assaulting another woman known as Mary after meeting her online in 2008. She told BBC Scotland that Rossi pinned her against the wall and forcefully kissed and groped her and masturbated in front of her at a college in... Come on, do it for me. Walk me over the line here.
In Ohio.
In Ohio. Mary said she had hoped Rossi would now face justice on the other allegations against him, adding, "He's trying to fool everyone, and I'm glad so many people see through it." Who is Nicholas Rossi? Authorities in the U.S. have said that Rossi, also known as Nicholas Aladerverdian in the state of Rhode Island, where he was involved in local politics, was a critic of the state's child welfare system. Rossi told U.S. media in December 2019 that he had late-stage non-Hodgkin lymphoma and had weeks to live. Several outlets reported that he had died in February 2020. Court records showed that Utah officials were looking for him at the time in connection with an alleged rape. When he was arrested in Glasgow, he was also on the run from authorities in other U.S. states. He used several aliases, including Nicholas Edward Rossi, Nicholas Alhardavarian Rossi, Nick Allen, Nicholas Brown, and Arthur Knight. The FBI also had a warrant for his arrest on charges of defrauding his foster father by taking out credit cards in his name and running up the debts of more than $200,000. Was that not crazy?
That's knuck and futz.
I thought so. I mean, technically that counts as an Ohio story. This other story is just from saying it's rats in downtown Cleveland, which is wild to me. Like rats, like walking around, rats, you be like, hey, there's a rat. Like we knew rats existed down there. Rats and roaches is a thing, but to see one showing up, like, is wild.
Yeah, when we worked in downtown, I always seen like not always. I've seen mice like in the tower, but I've never seen like a rat. I haven't seen a rat in a long ass time. Like in person.
The story says that I'm not going to read the whole thing. The increase is common when construction disrupts centuries old underground locations and replaces drainage lines. Because they're building the new Sherwin-Williams Tower in that parking lot down there,
like off Detroit.
Superior West 6. Yeah, Superior West 6. So it's like, is that West 6? Yeah, that's West 6. And so, of course, they started digging and, like, shook up the whole rat community at that point. And so they is all out like
1,000 years.
But that is what's been popping in the realm of news and that counts for the great state of Ohio. And we passed the popcorn over to my man Ant as he beats down his enemies in
Streets
Streets of Rage 4.
Yes, I do love Streets of Rage 4, but we'll talk about that more as the at the end of the episode. So first, I want to ask, Lunch, did you try the apple fritter?
I did.
What'd you think?
Wasn't bad. I warmed it up for a minute because I didn't know how long to do it for, and I had to let it cool because it was too hot.
Oh yeah, you went too far.
Microwave always 30 seconds.
Well, like I put it on for a minute. I stopped it at 45, like 15 seconds in.
Yeah.
I stopped it at 15 seconds in, and it was like barely anything. So I was like, I'll just let it go. And then I let it go. Then I pulled it out. I was like, too hot.
Yeah. And our
this, of course, will make no sense.
Seconds.
This will not flow at all because eventually you're going to hear an episode where Box is like, I never had apple fritter or hadn't had apple fritter in some time.
No,
Yeah,
I never had an apple fritter that was good.
Yeah. So it's a bit of chaos going on.
I can see how the heat makes it better.
Yeah, when
I'm telling you, I would tell you right now, man, throw that bitch in the air fryer and let that get a little on it. I don't even own an air fryer, but I'm aware of the power of the air fryer. You know what I'm saying? So, because I watch enough TikToks where motherfuckers like throwing shit in the air fryer, and like, hold on, do this. Then I bet you that shit would do some magic.
Yeah, I would recommend like 11 or 12 seconds. Like at the most 24. Like put it in there, boop, boop, take it out. You know, because when you Icarus, you went too close to the sun, Icarus. You went all the way up there. Your wings melted.
Did I tell y'all about the moving the stuff to the outer edge of the microwave plate instead of putting it in the middle?
Oh, yes. I mean, I've seen a video of that before.
Yeah, the party shirt guys talked about it forever ago. As it turns out, that's where you put shit at to get heated up in the microwave properly. Putting it in the middle is how you end up with just, hot on the outside and frozen on the inside. And once I learned that, at this point, I always put stuff on the outside edge and everything comes out the microwave as it should. And don't sleep on that is what I'm telling you listeners, as well as my host, my fellow host here. So it's the move. Wore the party shirt on TikTok for constantly out there proving and disproving things.
Okay. So, when is this episode? When would this one go up?
Friday, Thursday, just normal show.
Oh, this coming Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So, how bothered have you guys been with this year's Daylight Savings Day?
Not at all.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
It makes the days feel like exceptionally short.
Yeah. Like, for the first time in years, I don't even say it had to been a while because like I really don't have a need to drive around at night too much. But I went to go help my mom. The gutters on the garage at our old house was coming down, and because like some of those vines were growing up in between it and it got loose, and I went up there and I put it back up. And I took the boys with me, and we were driving home, and it started getting dark. Like it was like 5 something. So we were making our way across Richmond. I'm like, God damn, it's dark and there's so many cars out here. I have not experienced that. Usually, if I go out at night, it's like 8 or 9 o'clock. Shit is dying down. I'm running to the store to get some milk and coming back home. Like, I'm not gonna say like a panic set in, but I was just like, man, I'm not used to it being dark and it being like bouded outside.
Yeah.
That's the one. That was what I noticed last night. But like Man, my sleep has been like terribly off. Like I've had to, last night. I took 2 melatonins, which I haven't done that in a long time, and that was like the first time in during these times that I've like been able to just sleep throughout the night. Like it's yeah, shit's been weird.
Yeah, because I get my hour back. It has been gravy. You know what I'm saying? And it's been nice to wake up to some light as opposed to waking up to a pitch black. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't I like falling back. I always have. I hate springing forward. I hate when they take that hour from me because I feel it. I feel it in my bones. And normally I feel it for as I get older. I feel it for longer than when I was younger. And it's just it is bothersome. But yeah, I've had a good go of this particular day at savings time. It's not even a week old quite yet as we record this, but yeah, I've been ducky.
Yeah, I've been man, it's been trying to coordinate with the kids, try to get them prepared for bed and stuff like that, and um, you know in the summertime it's wild being like, oh yeah, it's time for y'all to go to bed at 8:30 while it's still light out. And but now it's dark outside and it's barely even 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
But also the fact that we've been having crazy warm weather has um been weird too. Like Saturday I put up a basketball hoop. Emery has been really into basketball lately. As far as about like throwing shit at a board, he's all
yeah.
about it. So I got him a basketball hoop. It was like a Lifetime brand. It was on sale out. Like, let me get this done before it go back up in price. I got it. I put it together. We played a little basketball. They didn't. They threw the ball at the thing a couple times, and they went in the house to play their Kindles. But I put it in our garage, and when I get home, sometimes they want to play in the garage a little bit. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still not feeling up to snuff. I kind of feel like maybe that extra hour has been probably too much for me.
I can see that where you're like the addition was far too much.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to new beginnings, like because this year is rolling out fast.
Yeah, the deuce really didn't bother hanging around for long, did it?
Nah, it was like I'm kind of feeling like I'm doubting that 2023 is going to be my year, but but still like I'm looking forward to a new year.
Aye. I take them as I get them, and that's just that is all one can do, you know.
Yeah,
But anything else, man? You know what I'm saying? All to the good.
I think I'm good. What about you, Lunch? How are you doing?
I'm coughing again, which is weird because like I'm not really like my nose isn't running or anything. It's just like it skipped the whole nasal congestion phase and was just like, "We're in your lungs," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So just gonna have some random mucus.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just been going around that damn RSV. I'm not wishing that you had it, but it's just been going around. It's like it's a terrible time for upper respiratory infections, and so I yeah, and the fact you already had a chest cold and that you weren't all the way fully bounced back from before get another one. It's just like it's just fucking sucks.
It serves me right for going out in public. But
yeah.
uh, roughly what like 45 minutes ago, I bought something. Well, I ordered something. It should be here tomorrow. I've never had one before. People tell me that they're amazing, that they really
Okay.
enjoy them. I bought a weighted blanket.
Oh,
Both the kids have one.
how many pounds?
So that's the thing. I didn't know. I never, like I said, never touched one, never had one. I just went with 20 pounds
Okay.
because I didn't want to be too light, but I didn't want to be too heavy if I didn't like it, And so it was like normally $50. It was a queen size, and it was like it had like a $10 Amazon coupon to clip, and then I had a $10 Amazon credit from linking my Venmo the other day.
Oh.
And then I had a couple dollars in my gift card balance or whatever. So like all in all, the blanket was like $30 for a queen size 20-pound weighted blanket.
Nice.
I don't know if that's good. It seemed good. The reviews on it, like they had a good rating. So I was like, all right, I'll give this a try.
The kids, I think, both have 15-pound ones, and they seem to like them. I got them last year for Christmas from Target, and it was just dumb luck. I happened to catch a good sale at some point. It was like between Christmas and Thanksgiving, one of them situations, and so they both dig them. And hey, there you go, get your weighted blanket on. I've never used it myself. I have felt to because like Lee has brought his downstairs for it. I'm like, I kind of get it. But also, I'm like, I don't know if I want that. Get that. I don't know if I enjoy that feeling. To me, it feels slightly trapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, get off me.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I don't know if it will become like my night sleeper, but I want to use it like for like lounging around on the couch or something.
Yeah, that's a vibe. Good time to do it. They were saying as we start. It's supposed it's like the last time I checked the weather for like later in the week, next week, it's possible snow coming to boot. So
yeah, it's supposed to snow on Sunday.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Not yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah,
that is some suck if ever there were any.
yeah. We have a weighted blanket, and that motherfucker is heavy. I know that bad boy. It might be like 25 pounds.
Yeah,
Like,
you got
this.
When I told my group chat that I bought it, my one buddy says he has a 25-pounder, and then my other buddy says he has a 35-pounder.
Wow.
I was like, man, you get out of bed, you got to do like a fucking bench press to get up.
That's like having a person laying on top of you. And I mean, I guess I get that where that could be good, but I think I that's like kind of bad to me. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, that's lifting up my youngest son and putting it on your shoulder. I mean, or like folding that bitch, like, because I remember when we would like stop using it and putting it in the closet, like for trying to fold it up and stuff.
Because as you compress it, it just gets more intensely weighted into one little spot.
Yeah.
My
like,
gosh.
How do you wash it? You can't be putting that bad boy in your wash machine, can you? You gotta take it to the laundromat.
That weight might fuck up some commas, won't it?
Yeah, because we didn't even use it long enough to have to wash it. Like when we got it, we decided it wasn't our thing, and it was just like, all right, and that was it.
Like we've lived this life, we've had this experience. Let us move on.
Yeah, my partner bought it. I didn't buy it, but I seen it's supposed to be beneficial for kids, and so I thought about getting Emery one.
Just throw that 25 one on them right quick. Be like, trapping.
Yeah, keep him from falling out of bed.
Oh man, I mean, I know you guys heard it during like recordings that night. He'll just go boom, and I got to run upstairs and go see what's going on.
But he'd be like lights out.
Man, yeah, the last time, he fell out of bed. He was just like, he fell out of bed, which probably was 20 seconds away, and he was just sleeping.
Does he fall out of bed all the time?
He fall out of bed a lot. He be talking in his sleep a lot.
Do you think you would benefit from like those rails that you like tuck under the mattress?
Yeah, the little side slats.
Probably so. But like I said, he falls right back asleep. Yes, I can spend $30 on a rail, but
I'm shocked he didn't come with the bed. I thought them shits came with beds on the regular.
Oh yeah, like they have a bunk bed now. Like he did have a real once upon a time when he was in a toddler bed, but now they're in the regular twin size bed, and Yeah, no rails.
They I know what kind of bunk beds are they?
Um, wood. No,
So I asked that because I still have the rail that used to be on what was once their Uncle Carl's bed, and then became Xander's bed, and then became Lee's bed. I still have one of those their side rails here at the house in the attic because whatever it is wood. So I'm like, I mean, depending on what it is, you might be able to just put that bad boy right on there.
Well, I was thinking like they sell. I remember like they were like plastic and like with a net, and the bottoms would just tuck under the mattress, so like you didn't have to install it, and like it could be easily removed in and out.
Underneath his mattress pad, he just put a pillow there, like right there, and then like when he rolls over, it's like a speed bump. He won't fall off the bed. So that's usually the solution. But like sometimes when we make up the bed, we don't put it back, and that was a time that we didn't put it back, and he just fell out of the bed.
Aye.
And he doesn't sleep on the top bunk; he sleeps on the bottom bunk.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I didn't think he was coming down crashing like that because he a G if he could sleep. If he's sleeping through that. And
I wonder what the science is behind like falling out of bed all the time. You know?
While sleeping.
So even to this day, Lee, I will sometimes go to Lee's room just to check in on him, and they'll be halfway out the bed and halfway in the bed, just out cold, just lights the fuck out. So it's like it's just one of those weird things. Do either of y'all have you ever suffered with sleep paralysis?
No.
Yeah,
not that I know of.
It is something I have lived with for years. Not enough to make me say I should probably go see a doctor, and I kind of have figured out how to get around it, if that makes sense. But it is one of the things where your body falls asleep basically before your brain is, and so you'll be awake and aware, but your body has started pumping the chemicals that say keep your ass still, and so you can't move because, like I said, you're not supposed to be moving when you're asleep. Your body actually puts a little something in your system that says, "Hey, man, don't budge." Okay, it is a sleep time, and you fuck it up. So, and it is even to this day, it is very scary. It does it does frighten me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, "Oh shit," and then like I usually can make enough of either make enough noise or rattle myself enough. If I can rattle myself enough to wake myself up all the way, because then I like my brain snaps too, and I can kind of make my body move. Or as a system in place of me and Vanessa, I'm like, look, if you hear me at night, kind of whatever, like, or sometimes literally saying, you know what I'm saying, trying to say help. She knows to reach over and touch me, and that just the feeling, basically gets the nerves going. Oh, I'm awake, I'm alive, and I can be like, oh shit, thank you for waking me up and get me out of that. So it is again, that doesn't happen too much, but it does happen from time to time, and it's usually when I'm like what I would describe as, or as your mom might describe as overtired. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And yeah, it has a level of suck, but it go on. I'm sorry.
I've never experienced it before, but the first time I heard of it, I think it was on This American Life, and they were saying like some people call it the devil sitting on your chest.
Yep. Because it's not so. Unlike some people who like see things, and maybe once upon a time I did. Like, yeah, maybe who knows? With just time, it like I said, I just know what it is, and so for me, when it's happening, I know to lock my neck up. Locking my neck up makes me like shaking away that shudders me awake. And like I said, it gives me just enough nervous movement to be like, okay, wake your ass up and move, as opposed to sitting here with your heart racing, because that's exactly what happens. Like I said, I'm freaking because you start kind of freaking the fuck out, so your heart starts racing, and then like because you can't move, it's like in my case, I'll be like, am I dying? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, you're not dying. You just simply got a little chemical imbalance going on here, and it's okay. And like I said, for some people, it has to be treated with medicine. They do have medicines for that. But like I said, I don't deal with it enough where I felt like, I need to get some drugs. So, but yeah, sleep paralysis blows. But
Yeah.
Usually what happens with me is like I'll be watching TV in bed or something, and then I'll start to fall asleep. And then like I'll snap back awake because it'll be something like, oh, I didn't turn the TV off or something.
yeah,
And then I'm stuck where like now I can't go back into like starting into sleep because I kicked myself out of the
charge
process.
yourself awake. Yeah. So it's like, and it's also one of the things where they tell you should have a basically a shutdown situation. Okay, we turn the TV off. We turn the air purifier on. We set the things here and there. You basically have a closing shop kind of a process for when you go to bed. That way, your body is taking the steps to get you to bed.
I find it works best for me if I put the sleep timer on the TV.
Yeah,
Because if I turn the TV off and then I try and lay there, then I can't turn my brain off and I start thinking about everything and I can't sleep. I do worse in the silence.
I actually miss like my partner cannot sleep with the TV on. Like I miss going to sleep like watching King of Queens or whatever that was on on the WB at night. Like I love watching like a familiar show and not really have to watch it. I can listen to it and just drift off to sleep. I miss that.
Yeah, I mean, back in high school, I used to put the sleep timer on. I'd watch like Conan, and then I would switch over to 55, and I'd watch Martin and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
And I put like the sleep timer on, so if I fell asleep during those, then like the TV went out, and it was no one was any the wiser.
We have a couple TVs in this house, but the one that is the most expensive, I hate it. It's a Samsung TV, and the fact that the remote just doesn't have sleep on it bothers the shit out of me. And I don't like I found it once before, but the sleep timer is so convoluted to find on that TV. Like the TV
you should get you a just copy a universal remote and and find one that has that button on there for you. Don't ever stick with bullshit terrible remotes no more. Too many good remotes to be had out there that can meet your function. I was talking, but I realized I had muted my microphone. Vanessa goes to bed before me almost always, but she has the TV going. So a part of my shutting down for the night process is go upstairs, close the curtains because Vanessa has fallen asleep with the curtains wide open. It drives me insane. Grab the remote that could be right there on her nightstand table, or it could be in front of the TV, or it could have fallen underneath the bed and I gotta go find it. Turn the TV off. Oftentimes I will I've been playing this stupid idle minor game on my phone, or spades or whatever game has something, and I'll play till I kind of start feeling that like that phone was about to smack me in the face.
Yeah,
I have dropped my phone in my face several times in life. And then, like I said, I usually can shut it all the way down. Like last night, I fell asleep on the couch. It's because I knew I didn't have to work today, so I didn't care. And so then I wake up and it's like 12:30, and I'm like, "Oh, carry your ass to bed, old man." So I just go I didn't even attempt to play on my phone. I was like, I am tired, so I just hit the rack and fell right off, which was nice because it's nice to fall asleep. If my kids had the day off today, I wouldn't even have the alarm on. But Lee had school today, and so I was like, of course had to be up to get them off for the day. But trust your boy would have definitely slept in today if I could have.
Yeah, I after we got finished recording last night, I think I went to bed at like 4.
That's because you had the day off and just was like, fuck it.
Partly,
and you said you was talking to the fellas.
Yeah, like I started to get sleepy after I was talking on lunch, and what did I have to do? I think I still had to like pack the boys' lunch, so I wasn't rushing around in the morning. So I did that. I was like, well, I'm packing up lunch. I might as well do this. I might as well do that. And then like shit just got out of control. And I've been listening to this Tom Segura audio book. I started listening to that. And, yeah, shit just got out of control.
I laugh when I hear his name because in his last special, he was talking about how he was checking into a hotel, and the clerk's like, "Segura, is that Japanese?" And he goes, "No." And the clerk goes, "Segura." He goes, "Well, yeah, it sounds Japanese when you say it like that."
What's crazy about him is I don't remember either he opened up for somebody that we got free tickets for, or I got free tickets for him. And that was one of the first experiences like where I got free tickets to like Hilarities or wherever we were, where I was like, God damn, this dude is so funny. And of course he's like he's a good ass comic. And like literally the day after that, I found his Netflix special. Like I'm like, this dude got a fucking hour on Netflix. And I mean I just been liking him ever since. But like
yeah, he's got like 4 of them now.
Yeah.
I actually just watched Neil Brennan's new special. That's what I was watching when T texted me about this. That's why I didn't answer because I didn't have my phone. Like, I don't keep the sound on my phone. So if someone calls or texts and I'm not looking at the phone or the phone's not in my eyesight, I don't know. And like my phone was behind me on the other end of the couch. So, dude, I didn't like his 3 mic special. I'm being honest. Like it didn't speak to me. The new one, fantastic. I love it. Like I'm definitely gonna watch it again soon. I've thoroughly enjoyed it the whole way through.
I tried to watch the Chris Red on HBO or HBO Max. I don't know it's probably just on HBO Max. He is not a good comic. I don't find him funny at all. Like
I haven't watched it.
I wouldn't recommend it at all. Like I couldn't get through 10 minutes of it. And yeah, like I mean, no, it don't have anything to do with I feel like he's a dick for like dating Keegan Thompson's wife like during the them getting a divorce.
I'm sorry, whose wife?
Kenan Thompson.
Chris Red is dating Kenan Thompson's ex-wife.
After he put him on his show, right?
While he was starring with Kenan on Kenan.
Yeah. Yeah, real. He's a real piece of work for that.
I mean, sometimes.
I mean, Kenan knows about it and he seems to be okay with it, but yeah, it's kind of got to be a little awkward.
No, okay. Once again, I'm going to bring up Wind Up His Life and Cypher Sounds, who is one of the hosts on that show, does stand up and tells the story of how Chris Red just very recently got beat all the way the fuck up in front of the Comedy Store in New York, got the shenikes kicked out of him, and people was like, "Oh, that seemed like Kenan called some people in on him," because he does because none of that shit ever happens in front of that particular comedy club, and he's like, "No, we'll never have beef like that in front of that in like any situation like that." And so for out of the blue, motherfuckers to show up on him.
Man,
that was some shit, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Kenan called in a knuckle puck.
Apparently, I do it for the kids like Kenan and Kel. So
yeah, that was crazy. I wonder was that connected because that was just like too linear for it just him just get his ass whooped for no reason.
Kenan's one of those people that like I don't want to sound rude when I say this, but when you think of like super famous black actors, comedians, whatever, he doesn't come to the forefront of your mind right away. Yeah. But then when I stop and think about him, he's been doing shit in front of the camera that I've watched my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
Fucking all that. Mighty Ducks. He did Fat Albert. He's been on SNL for like 20 years. Keenan and Kel. Like, he's had various other random things here and there, like movies and stuff, but like, and then
Snacks
he's
on
got
the
his own
plane.
show. Yeah, it's just like, he's consistently been in my entertainment life as far back as I can remember.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I remember him when he was in Heavyweights, like back
Yeah.
in the day.
I
So
love that
like
movie.
like 90s, 2000, 2010s, now 2020s. He's been like fucking doing it for 4 decades. Like, and then yeah, you forget about it.
What's so? It's just yeah. He's like I say like y'all just said. He's been consistently just been present in your life for so long that you forget that there's not a time where Keenan wasn't there for you. You know what I'm saying? Basically,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, when I think of French, I think of him in that bathtub, Pierre Escargot.
I definitely yeah. Like and like I like recently, did you see him when he was talking to Mike Tyson on Mike Tyson podcast?
Mm-mm.
Man,
I didn't even know Mike Tyson had a podcast.
indeed.
yep, he got a podcast.
I should probably just assume that everybody at this point has a podcast.
You should, and you would be right. I hate when I'm listening to like, especially when I'm listening to My Mama Told Me, because I think they're part of our iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
So they have like all these random ass advertisement for podcasts. I'm like every week it's just like, hey, I'm you remember me? I'm the Wrigley's Field guy. I have a podcast now. Wrigley's the best. Is you know it's so ridiculous. Like everybody has a podcast, and it was just like I remember like back in the day, like it was This American Life and Mark Maron, and then after that, everything blow up. Oh, and Keith and the Girl.
I never ever got no, and that's no disrespect to it. I never got into Keith and the Girl. I attempted, I tried. It was never my cup of stew, man.
I listened to it because there were only like 5 other podcasts to listen to, and then
Whereas I had so many, like I said, it was game podcast got me in the podcast game. There was tons and tons of them, of all sorts. When I first got into podcast, which I can tell you it was 2007. It was when I was working at Target, and right before my youngest was born, and right around that time, there was a culling at one of the video game magazines or websites at that time, and everybody who got fired basically split off and started making their own podcast. And so to keep up with people's work, I was like, well, I'll listen to their podcast. And so that it was Rebel FM, the Geek Box. Who else? Somebody else had one. It's like all these people ended up starting their own shows is basically what it came down to. And so then they had their own shows going, and then the various game sites started making their own podcasts. So I started listening to those podcasts. So like I said, I've been rolling with podcasts since Ant got his first iPod.
what year was that? That was was it 2006?
It was like 6, 7, 8. It was one of them, right there in that little area of time.
Yeah, it had to be because 2000. It was before we way before
it was before the recession, so it had to be 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to get discounts on Apple products back then. I was just like, okay, and shit, we still might have been getting bonus checks back then. So, but yeah, podcast, don't you love them?
Turns out, yeah, I actually do. It's a great deal. I listen to a ton of. If I were to go look in my podcatcher, in fact, today I just added a new one. Today I added a more civilized age, a Star Wars podcast.
Oh wow!
Because they are discussing Andor, and I fucking love Andor so much. And it's people whose podcasts they used to be. Well, no, all these people except for one are on Waypoint Radio, which is a video game podcast. But the one guy who is on this podcast left to go for work for a different company. And so once he left, I was like, well, I ain't listening to that podcast without him. Austin Walker is his name. And now that I know he is on the Star Wars podcast, I was like, oh, I will check that. I miss Austin, and so I just started that one this very day. Scrolling to the bottom, my podcatcher, I currently listen to 39 podcasts that I get in my podcatcher. Or no, I had 39 podcasts in my podcaster. One, two, three, three of those, no, four of those are not actively making. No, five, six, seven of these are not actively making shows anymore. So that's basically 30. That means 32. And three of those are podcasts four of those, oh yeah, Cadillac. Four of those are podcasts I'm on. So that's like, what is that, 28 podcasts. And then over on Spotify, I listen to Heavyweight. So I have 29 podcasts that are in my general cipher.
I have to get that. I used to like that show. I mean, I used to listen to that dude when he used to do his other podcast, and I often think about his dad. Like, I wonder how his dad is doing.
So
but
we'll
I don't have that.
We'll see how that all plays out when it's all said and done. And I just erased some of the ones that don't that I know are not actively making shows, and I just erased the old podcast feed, which I still had in that podcatcher, which is so funny to me. And I actually don't listen to High and Mighty enough to actually be damned with. I go there when I like, oh, somebody I fuck with is on High and Mighty this week. Let me listen to it.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to delete that one as well. There I am, cleaning up my podcast feed live in person. Bubble in the Breadcast. So Bubble is a podcast from Maximum Fun. Jordan Morris wrote it. Mitch from Dope Boys was one of the stars of it, and that's why I fucked with it. And I think Weiger wrote Punch Up on it as well. It's a sci-fi podcast, and it was basically a story. But every now and again, they'll throw a bubble extra up on there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we recorded another bubble, and that actually is now a graphic novel. And I think there's talk of either making a cartoon or an actual live action show of that. So that's kind of why I keep that one around. The Breadcast is my man John Saunders, Joe Saunders, who is the Breadcast is basically a Doughboy spinoff show, and it has had probably 9 episodes total. But every now and again, my man Joe come through with a Breadcast, and so I leave that one active in the feed as well. So I told you I listened to, but kind of got beef with the Questions Hip Hop Trivia podcast.
Oh yeah,
and Swatches and Boomboxes hasn't put out a show since last year, and I don't think they're gonna be coming back no time soon. I should probably reach out to Neil and see what's going on with him and his world. I ain't heard from him in a while, so that just make sure he is well. But yeah, man, it's just yeah. I actually, oddly enough, don't listen to too many video game podcasts now. Once my man Jeff Gerstmann was fired by Giant Bomb, I subscribed to his podcast, but it's literally just Jeff by himself talking for 2.5, 3 hours about video games. And I love video games, but one man cannot carry that discussion. And I don't like Giant Bomb without him. And so I don't like listening to their podcast without him around. So it's just one of those random happenstances that I'm bitching about.
Yeah, I had to give up on Why Won't You Date Me? I like Nicole Byer, but it's I just couldn't listen to her the same subject over and over again. It really got boring to me. And you know what? I think I got mad at her, honestly.
Based on what?
When that episode of New Beginner, what's the show with
newcomers.
Yeah. When they started doing the Marvel newcomers, and the episode I think with Carl and Lamar, I started listening to it, and they were being just so dismissive. The show was only on for like all of 5 minutes,
Yeah.
um, and I was just like, I can't take it no more. I just can't take how dismissive you were being of Marvel, and like I didn't listen to Why Won't You Date Me no more. I haven't listened to anything she's done again.
They, like fuck yeah. So I ended up hate listening to the rest of that season, and of course by the end of it, they were kind of falling in love with it because that's always the case. It's like they talk so reckless up front that and maybe that's the bit, and I'm missing that's the bit, but I don't like the bit.
I don't like the bit. I didn't listen to the first season of Newcomers when they were watching Star Wars because famously I was known for two things at work. One, having a lot of shoes. Two, the fact that I have never seen any of the Star Wars movies and I didn't want to see any of them. And our boss's boss would like frequently ask me like, "See it yet?" I was like, "No." So I didn't watch that season. I mean, listen to that season. I really didn't watch too many of the Fast and the Furious movies, so um, I was able to listen to that one. I could listen to the Tyler Perry ones because I hadn't seen those movies. But honestly, I still don't feel like they were as dismissive in calling the movie stupid as much as um, those other sets of movies.
Yeah,
So
you are not wrong. They were really shitty to the Marvel movies, and then they kept saying how, but if we want to get us in one, I'm like, y'all,
yeah, and that's another bit. They were like, um, Lauren Lapkus was like, "Oh yeah, I could definitely paint a white lady in one of these Tyler Perry movies." Like that was just part of it, but
That'd be like me talking about how much I don't care for Nicole Byer, and then ask him to be on that cake show.
nailed it.
I think you would do a good job on it though.
Oh, I probably would nail it, but that don't mean that like I care for Nicole Byer.
Yeah, I didn't watch this. I didn't watch this season of Nailed It either.
I've not seen a single season of Nailed It, not a one.
It is.
I watched the
it is-
first one.
I feel like
It's-
it's enjoyable. It's like, first of all, like most cooking competition shows are funny, but like the fact that these people like are making stuff terrible and then they got to eat it and then it's like her being disgusted is very funny. It's like come hating videos.
I like the premise of the show. I just don't care for her. And it's not that I hate her. It's just that, like, as far as an entertainment goes, she's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
When it really comes down to it, I just don't like her voice.
I don't know what to do with that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. Like I said, it's not a personal thing. Like, it's just I can't watch her for long periods of time. I drown her out.
I totally get that.
I don't know if I have anybody whose voice does that to
Fran
me. I
Drescher.
wonder. Yeah, I like Fran Drescher till I found out she was a weirdly anti-vax all of a sudden. I'm like, I guess I can't fuck with the nanny no more. But that's about the only issue I can say I have with her. Otherwise, her voice was perfectly pleasant to me. So
The nanny named Fran. Like what shows like on the nannies level that you know were on for a long ass time that you didn't watch a moment of back in the day?
I never watched Frasier while it was live. I always watched like reruns or whatever.
I didn't watch Frasier. I didn't watch Wings. Like
I never.
Wings is
Yeah.
really funny. Like
I think
really good show.
I think I saw some Wings episodes on USA when it was in syndication.
Yes.
That was like they worked at an airport or some shit, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
small. It was basically a spinoff from Cheers, and so they worked out on the Cape, which is basically outside of Boston.
Boston, yeah.
And it had Sandman in it, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. It's like one of his first acting gigs, early acting gigs. I'll word it that way. That way, I'm not disrespecting my man's efforts.
Like I would see Coach from time to time. I never really watched like Will and Grace. Every now and again, I'd see like a rerun of Just Shoot Me.
I used to, yeah, I used to actually watch. I mean, Spade was in it, so I did watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would see it on like 55 in the afternoon, like during the summer or whatever. Like, it's not like I was going to watch the Thursday night new episode of Just Shoot Me, you know? Same thing with like Friends. Like, I watched Friends in syndication. I only saw like maybe the finale live, like the series finale.
Yeah. Seinfeld had been on for so long that like I didn't watch it when it was on at first, and then I caught up on it and went through syndication, and then by the time like the fresh episodes was on, I was good. Same thing with Everybody Loves Raymond. Like I fuck with Everybody Loves Raymond, but when it was on, I didn't watch it, and like at first, and then it was this older lady at work. When I worked at an insurance place, and man, I was there was no young people at this job at all, like none. It was only one, and she didn't talk to me. I was just like, I guess I need to make a friend somewhere else. So it was this lady, and we started being friendly. And she was like, "Man, you know what you need to watch? Everybody Loves Raymond. You will love it." And I was just like, I doubt that, lady.
I
And
used to see it at my grandmother's house.
I watched it, and I was hooked. Man, that shit was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like before my grandfather had his stroke, my grandmother would watch it all the time. Like, not the one that had custody of me, but like my other grandmother. So like she would have it on in the evening when she was doing the crossword puzzle or whatever. So I would see that. I didn't watch Seinfeld until it was already over. I was too young to like get it, you know. Let's see what else. Like I watched a lot of like sitcom-y stuff with like my other grandmother. Like I remember watching like Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Classic. Not really,
yeah.
because nobody knows about that show, but those who know.
Yeah, like I watched like a lot of the ABC stuff, like Step by Step, Family Matters, Perfect Strangers. Obviously, like Dinosaurs was big back then. Boy Meets World.
Yeah, like I remember when they changed it to just Two Guys and a Girl. They had dropped the pizza shop.
They got rid of the pizza shop. I do recall that.
I love the Instagram account, like the Only 90s Kids Knows one, because they'll put up like the Saturday morning cartoon, like when it was like going to a commercial break and they do like the little cartoony thing, like we'll be right back. And then like the other day they did one for TGIF where like it was like a week before Perfect Strangers premiere, and so they were doing like pre-recorded cut-ins for each commercial break. Like on tonight's episode of Full House, blah 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 happens, and then they do the cut-in like tonight on Family Matters, blah 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 blah, and they would do like their own little Perfect Strangers shtick jokes or whatever, and then they're like, oh, and the series premiere tonight of Going Places. And I was like, Going Places? I don't fucking remember this one. I had to Google it. And I'm like, oh, it only lasted 13 episodes. No wonder I don't remember Going Places.
I remember I was super pumped. Like, Perfect Strangers was a show I really wanted to like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Balky seemed like a cool ass guy. But then when Harriet got her own show, I was like, hey, I'm liking this Harriet Winslow and her family.
So you say you don't remember a 13 episode show. Here's an example of a 13 episode show that I remember almost clear as a bell. It's from 83, so before you existed. How do I remember it? Fuck if I know, bro. Because what was I, 8? Yeah, I guess I would have been. Because Jennifer Slept Here was the name of the show. And it's a sitcom. And this guy bought a house. I'm not looking yet. I had pulled it up to double check these facts here after I said bring to you. But this guy bought a house, like in Cali or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Moves in, finds out the ghost of a celebrity also still lives in that house, Jennifer. And basically, I think he falls in love with the ghost, which is weird because she's a ghost. And so let's take a look at this one. Ann Gillian plays Jennifer Farrow, a once popular movie actress who in 1978 made the unfortunate mistake of chasing an ice cream truck near her LA, California home. When the ice cream truck accidentally backed up, it ran her over, killing her.
Oh, wow.
Six years later, the Elliott family moved from New York City into Jennifer's home. Father George was a lawyer who had handled Jennifer's posthumous affairs, including the house. George's wife, Susan, was a concerned and understanding figure. Daughter Marilyn was a typical 8-year-old. The driving story behind the series was that Jennifer haunted the Elliott's house, ostensibly to mentor and befriend the family's teenage son, Joey, who was the only person whom she made herself visible. During the series, however, she does make herself visible in at least one episode. Naturally, Joey had a hard time convincing his family that family and friends of Jennifer's ghostly existence. They not only refused to believe Joey's claim, but often conclude that Joey needed psychiatric or other help. In one episode, they hired a phony exorcist played by Zelda Rubinstein in a parody of her poltergeist character, Tangina Barons, to rid the house of Jennifer's spirit by capturing it in a jar. So I didn't get my description of that show. I got some of it right, but not much of anything. Although the show had mixed reviews and a tough Friday night time slot, its competition was the Dukes of Hazzard on CBS and Webster on ABC.
So what was that on NBC?
It attracted some decent ratings. Repeats were shown on Wednesday nights during the summer of '84 and managed to make the top 30, but that wasn't enough to guarantee the season. Tom Ensign of the Toledo Blade reviewed Jennifer Slept Here, stated the show isn't funny, isn't witty, and doesn't stand a ghost of a chance. Wowzers.
Wow. Harsh.
And yeah, I'm almost positive that was an NBC show. Yes, it was an NBC show. But yeah, that's one of them shows I remember weirdly. Y'all remember She's the Sheriff?
Yes.
No.
That was Suzanne Summers after
Step by Step? Or after Three's Company?
After Three's Company, well before Step by Step. And she played the sheriff. I believe her husband was the sheriff and he died, and then she took over the job, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at She's the Sheriff. Let's see if I remember that right. I didn't get Jennifer Slept Here right. Summer stars as Hildy Granger, a young woman whose husband, the sheriff in fictional Lakes County, Nevada, has died suddenly. Now a widow with 2 children to support, Hildy accepts the county commissioner's offer to appoint her to serve as sheriff herself. Despite her lack of relevant experience, the show focuses on her efforts to handle the daily problems of locals and tourists while learning to work with her 4 deputies in particular. So there you go. That show lasted for 2 seasons, and it was syndicated, so it did a total of 44 episodes. It was one of those, what they call a first-run syndication show. So it was syndicated, but it never was, on a network show. Any channel would have had it. I probably watched that. I probably watched She's the Sheriff on Channel 24 in Tennessee.
It's amazing how, I know it's a couple shows that still do it, but having a whole 22 run is amazing. Do you guys know how much Ice-T makes on SVU for each episode? What would you guess how much he makes?
I'm guessing
that show's been on for 20 years. It's got to be a couple of K at least, man. 200,000 something like that.
My guess was going to be.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting Friends money like $1 million an episode, but he should be doing all right.
He makes the second highest amount on the show, and he makes $250K an episode.
Yeah. Now imagine that. So I don't know if Tutuo is in every episode, is he?
Yeah, I think so.
So 22 episodes a year, and that show has been on for definitely 20 years, right?
Yeah. Shit, longer than
he's been doing that for so long that I think of him more as an actor than as a musician.
Yeah, that show. Either way, they got 523 episodes. So, you run the numbers, and of course he gets residuals, and they play it all over the world. So Ice-T is well paid off of that show. No, that should say 99.
Oh shit!
September 20th, 1999 till the present.
Yeah, currently 456 episodes. He came on in season 2.
So right around 2000.
Yeah, right here on Wikipedia it says number of seasons 24, number of episodes 523. So,
Oh yeah, so 456 episodes is what he's done.
oh, okay. So he is not in every episode. There we go. But I mean, that's the vast majority of those episodes. You know, you do the maths. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I can't imagine though that he was getting 250K the entire time.
I'm just saying. So at least since recent history, but of course, I mean, even if they was like just giving him day rate back in the day, which I doubt, because you know, what I'm saying he no matter what, he was still Ice-T. He was already SAG. He was already in the guild, so he was already SAG because he had been acting for forever. So he was probably paid, decent.
Yeah, like I said, he's the second highest paid person on that show.
Yeah.
The lead actress, she gets 500,000. But she's
Mariska
also,
Hargitay.
yeah, she's also a producer and stuff on there. So
Yeah.
yeah, and the episode, like, I wasn't watching it. My partner was like, this dude. I came into the living room. He was wearing one Gucci jacket. I come out of the living room, go back in. He wearing another Gucci jacket. Like, obviously, he's living a good life.
That's 5.5 million per season, and that's just like I said. That's from the first run I'm talking about. So, like I said, you get I sent and I know I'm sure he's come across before. I sent Ant the other day on TikTok. My man Rufio has a TikTok where he does residual check lottery, where basically he just pulls out stacks and stacks of checks that he has had and what he gets for like different movies that might get played again. And like some shit he did recently, the one I sent Anthony recently, it was a check for like $360 because that movie ran somewhere. And so, like I said, they play Law and Order. It's been in syndication forever. It is played all around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, like listening to like Doughboys or like different podcasts where it's like people who've been in the industry for a while. Like if you live in New York, you've done an episode of SVU.
Yep.
Right. Like that's a common thing. But like, yeah, I follow him. That dude has been in almost everything. Like that dude is like Moesha. He's been part of my life just as much as Kenan Thompson, if not more.
It's funny. Like I always think of Ice-T and the album Power. Him on the cover of that with a little Kango hat on, and he's holding a shotgun, but you don't know he's holding a shotgun until you turn the album over. He's facing. I could probably just find you that picture and show you, can I?
With his wife with her booty out in the sling,
his wife.
sling song.
Yeah, his wife at that time. Ice-T.
I think her name was Darlene. It's funny how like it was almost like she was his Miss Elizabeth back then.
Elizabeth. Can I not open this image? No, because Pinterest is weird. That's why I don't have a Pinterest page. Cops, critics, and punks don't want to see you in power. Well, that's too bad. Apocalypse Now. I'm back, and I'm at Darlene Ortiz. You are absolutely correct. Well, good call.
Thank you.
I wonder when. Now, keep in mind too, I haven't watched Law and Order in a very long time, but I wonder if like they're going to start like a youth movement on that show soon to keep it going, because a lot of the main cast are like in their 60s or they're approaching their 60s.
Maybe. Like I know the one lady on there who's a gambling addict detective. Like she was getting rolled off the show.
Oh, I didn't know.
So
I didn't know BD Wong is gay.
Yeah, he came out some years ago. So it's cool. I see with his African medallion, you know what I'm saying? His lady with a shotty, his hand behind his back, his boy's hand behind his back, and then you get the back cover and you see that he has this Uzi and his boy got a shotgun as well. Yeah, my brother had that album and I fuck with Power. I have a weird affinity and with West Coast hip hop because it just we were definitely I feel like we definitely lived in that says September '88. So we were certainly in up here in Cleveland by that point in time. But like, yeah, I had a bunch. I listened to a great deal of West Coast hip hop when I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, which I guess kind of makes sense because it was a Navy base around there, which means people from all over the country came down there. Also, like FedEx is right there, so again, people from all over the country came right to that area. So of course they would bring their music along with them.
Oh shit! Gremlins has a cartoon coming to HBO.
That sounds pretty dope. I listened to, I would say, up until 92 or 93 is when it flipped back. I listened to probably exclusively West Coast music, except for the Ghetto Boys, which was, Southern rap. And then when Wu Tang came out, that's when, and Wu Tang, Nas, that's where everything, Mobb Deep, everything flipped back.
Yeah, it was a good. So like Eric B and Rakim, Big Daddy Kane and shit like that. There, I like Check Out My Melody was the first hip hop song I memorized, and that's definitely something I feel like I was in Tennessee when I memorized that song. So that's super New York. And then there was this West Coast swing. So it was Ice-T, NWA, and DJ Quick and shit like that there.
Snoop.
And yeah, of course. If you say Dre, then you Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Hand in hand in that situation. And then of course, like just the other day, they talked about how on November 9th, 93, Wu-Tang Forever and Midnight Marauders drop. Wu-Tang Enter the Wu and Midnight Marauders drop. And of course, like two of my all-time favorite albums. Midnight Marauders, definitely in my top 5 albums of all time. Like a super important album to me. And like you said, it was these dramatic swings that occurred in how hip hop, and like of course in the middle of that is like I said, a bunch of Southern hip hop, your 8 Balls and MJGs, your Ghetto Boys. And Ghetto Boys was like so harsh. You know what I'm saying? Willie D, you know what I'm saying? Bald Head Hoes, Scarface, like the song Scarface from Scarface was a wild ass song. I took a look, the girl was cooked, her head exploded. You talking about he was fucking a girl and somebody came in the house to kill him and killed her and like shot her in the head. It's like, Jesus Christ, Scarface. It's like so crazy.
Well, my mother being a young worldly mother at that time, like, yeah, we didn't listen to any of that kind of stuff. Like, I only knew my mom's playing tricks on me because it came on the radio. And plus like my uncles were like, my Uncle Chris is only like 10 years older than me or something like that, maybe like 12 years older than me. So he was listening to, I remember he had this 6-foot bigger and deafer poster from LL Cool J. So he listened to everything. Like most of my early music influence comes from Uncle Chris. Like as far as like rap goes, my dad was really, really, really into P Funk and strangely enough, like Drake's uncle and dad, like Grand Central Station. We've been waiting for so long, coming to play for you some of our songs. But yeah, I remember that big swing. Like one year, everybody was wearing Chucks and shit. The next year, it was beef and broccoli Tims and
Yankee fitted shit like that.
Everything changed so quick.
Yeah, man. How it's funny that that's one of the things of aging that is both interesting and hilarious to me at the same time. It's like it's wild how trends ebb and flow. Like I said, I laugh at so much hip hop, not just hip hop, but also oddly enough, things hip hop artists have sampled that becomes TikTok music lately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a sample that I know, I recognize the sample from One Beer. It's an MF Doom track, and so I ended up buying the album that he sampled, which is from a group called I think Trapo, TR, some French like EAX. I think is how you spell that. The band. Well, here we'll just do One Beer MF Doom sample. Cortex is the name of the band. The name of the song that he sampled is Quit October 1971, which is basically whatever day that was in 1971 they recorded this song. Tropo Blue was the name of the album. That's where I got the word Tropo. Tropo Blue is the name of the album. And I actually own that on because they did a repressing of that a few years back. And I actually owned it on cassette as well. And it just showed up on TikTok the other day. And I'm like, and of course, you know, they be over here chopping and screwing shit on TikTok, and which is always something interesting as well, because like you'll hear a version of a song on TikTok, you're like, that's it. And it's like, it don't sound like that in reality because they done sped it up or slowed it down. It's like, damn, you made something dope and they don't sell that version of it.
Yeah, TikTok is. I wish you were still on there, Lunch. I be going to send you shit every day.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You know your piece better than I do.
Well, basically, we've been out here freestyling all damn day. I'm saying this show. So the reality. Let me catch you up on things, you the listener. We linked up earlier today. So we were going to attempt to record a couple of Patreon shows and this regular show, but the Patreon shows was hitting so good that we ended up going not going, but just running out of time. We didn't go overtime. We ran out of time, and so Ed's family was leaving him behind tonight, so he had time here early. We hadn't recorded a show earlier, even like this, since we used to record the show at my house early in the evening. So I had to quickly snatch Dan off the bench, be like, "Get it here, get the producing," and so it's off because we were just all together earlier in the day, so we kind of have hung out and talked to each other through everything already.
Yeah, for 3 hours earlier today.
yeah.
And last night
we talked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then of course we recorded an episode that you'll have here in a few weeks. I'll tell you right now, this is our Thanksgiving episode because we record on Thursdays and we ain't gonna record on a holiday. So our Thanksgiving episode we got done last week. So
we will have the itis that night. We won't be able to talk. We'll be sleeping.
That having been said, unless anybody has something else they want to add to this, let us move on to some Reddit good times.
I'm ready. My asshole is puckered and ready.
I hate you for that, but I love you for that. There is that. Your boy was extra prepared this week, man. My show notes was already made because, again, I was preparing to record this in person. So, of course, I had to, have my show notes on my iPad, which I ended up forgetting here at the house. But the notes are also on my phone, of course, because those two things are linked together in the iCloud. We got 3 this week. One box sent us, 2 that I pulled. Let us get into it and have a good time. This is the one that Dan sent us. Am I the asshole for forcing my guests to move to a hotel after they refuse to use the bidet? Sorry for all the poop talk. I live in a country with terrible plumbing. If you flush your toilet paper, you are pretty much guaranteed to back up your toilet. I grew up in Colorado, so I know how weird it is to wipe. How weird it is to wipe after a dump and then put the paper in a garbage can instead of just flushing it. So I installed a wand bidet in all 3 washrooms in my retirement house. So after you poop, you just spray your backside down nice and clean. Then you use the toilet paper to dry your butthole. Nice, simple, and less gross in my opinion. I wish I had these where I lived when I lived in the States. So my brother and his wife came down for a visit. I told them the rules for the bathroom, and they both said they understood. Apparently not.
They did.
They clogged the 2 public bathrooms the first day, then asked to use the one in my room. Nope, that's mine. They asked me where they were supposed to go to the bathroom. I pointed to them the clogged ones, and I offered them a plunger and a drain snake. They said I was the host and it was my responsibility. I laughed in their faces. So they packed up and left. They found a hotel, and now they are on social media complaining about the shithole country I chose to retire to and calling me a terrible host for inviting them down, but not letting them use my bathroom. I posted pictures of my bathrooms after they clogged them and asked if they knew who did that to my home. They called me gross and immature for talking about their bathroom habits. I'm lost. They brought it up first. Anyway, they're calling me an asshole because they are having to spend money on a hotel when I live in a really nice house with guest rooms. But now everyone who knows the bathroom rules but now everyone who knows the bathroom rules for down here is calling them idiots for not using the bidet or putting the toilet paper in the receptacle. Is this person an asshole, gentlemen?
Not at all. I
Rules are meant to be followed for a reason, man.
sometimes when we read these stories, I wonder, like, how do people like this really exist? Where you just like go into someone else's situation and just disregard what they say and then do whatever the fuck you want, and then get mad at them for doing whatever you want and it being bad.
Yeah, people are fucking assholes. just hands down. People are terrible, and they constantly want to show you how terrible they are. Like, I have set some rules and asked, do you fully understand? Yeah, I understand. Well, I'm just to go and be like, I'm gonna flush this shit anyway. Fuck this. Fucked up my toilets.
How will they know?
And got the nerve to be mad.
They'll never know. Oh, fuck, they know.
Yeah, we fucking know.
You would think, too, after clogging the first toilet, you'd be like, oh, shit, they weren't fucking around. This is a serious thing. Let's go clog the other one.
Yeah, this is a situation where you not only fucked around and found out, you did it twice. You had your slaw, sir. I don't see any pink comments, but it's just not the asshole. The responsibility to unclog the toilet falls on the person who clogged it, not the host. I clogged a toilet at a restaurant once in Boston, Southside Diner or South Street Diner, and was like, I can't possibly leave this bathroom with a clogged toilet. I'd feel like an asshole. And they had a plunger right there in that restaurant, and I plunged my that toilet clean.
I wish every
stall
had a plunger, because there's been times where like I'll be wiping and I use too much toilet paper and it's stuck. Then I'm afraid to flush because the water's going down. If I had a plunger, I'd fucking do it right there. Like, I'm not worried about like things being on the plunger. Like, that's what washing your hands after is for.
Well, yeah, I'm certainly going to wash my hands.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's like you go to these rest stops and stuff, or a bathroom in a restaurant, and there's nothing. It's like you're at the mercy of whatever happens in the flush.
Yeah. I wonder why it isn't more plungers around.
Public plungers? Because the idea is probably gross to people, you know?
You're using a public bathroom. Like,
no. What it is also I wouldn't doubt that is probably a weird American thing. Like, America has a real fucked up relationship with our public restroom situation. One, them shits is too open. The motherfuckers can see it over, under, and through the fucking stalls in most public restrooms in America, which is fucked up. Anywhere else in the world, it's a full close the door. I'm trying to be in this bitch and have my privacy. So already we have like a real fucking relationship with poop in America. They just like, I don't want you in there masturbating, because I know that's what somebody probably thought, and that's just our puritanical upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Our roots in the church in this country, fucking up the good time for the rest of us. And also, like I said, then if a plunger's in there, somebody gonna wipe shit on the plunger or stick the plunger up their butt because they think it's hilarious. Like, I wipe shit all over the plunger, not like up their butt. You know what I'm saying? More between their cheeks because they think it's hilarious.
Glory hole.
But it's just what it is in this country. We are so, like Box said earlier, in things you won't hear unless you subscribe to our Patreon. the rest of the world is not as shitty as America. Like, we can't even be trusted to fucking have a public restroom be, well taken care of. We can't. People are just, they litter everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that in other parts of the world. They do in some parts of the world for sure. But in most parts of the world, people are real good about picking their trash up and putting it in the receptacle. But then again, in America, we will have receptacles that aren't empty with enough regularity. So they're full and overflowing because it becomes like it's a weird capitalism thing. It's just such bullshit oftentimes in this country. And like I said, it probably all goes back to that as to why we don't have, public plungers in our public restrooms is my entire point to that.
And then after that, people probably steal it.
God, that's just in there. It's crazy. No, that person's not an asshole, and Reddit said he wasn't an asshole either. So we can.
Full disclosure, I only shared it with the group, this story, because it had a bidet in it.
Oh, well, I mean, if you gave I didn't read it. I was like, he sent it to me. Clearly, this has to be on the show, and I didn't read it till just now.
I just wanted everyone to know how great bidets are if they haven't heard previous episodes, because bidets are pretty great.
They are.
I want to figure out a travel bidet.
There you go. The trap, that's got to be a thing, right?
I hope so, because when I went to Georgia last month, I missed having the bidet. I wanted one with me so badly.
I don't like this idea.
What?
I'm about to show you. I don't know. Is this really a travel bidet?
I've seen ones where it's bottles with the little hose on the end, and you're just supposed to almost like you give yourself an enema.
Oh.
I applaud the ingenuity, but yeah.
That is literally a bottle cap. You put that on any bottle you are so inclined with, and then you squeeze. How much do you think that item costs?
$13.
$16.99. Oh.
$10. Okay.
923 reviews.
I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm going to share again with the audio. I like y'all to hear what plays when I go to various shopping sites on my computer. Let me know if you hear this.
Why does it do that?
I have a plugin on my browser. That is the music from the old Wii shop. So if you bought games on the Wii, you go to a store, it used to have that music playing. It is a classic banger. And so if I go to any shopping site in this particular browser, it plays that music in the background. So I want to share that with you, you guys and the listeners. But yeah, every portable bidet looked like an enema, basically, or that it. So travel enemas are more of a challenge than one would think. Daniel, I'm sorry.
Man, if only I had thought of a plastic bottle with a squeeze cap on it. Man.
Yeah, I don't think you get that bottle. I think you just get that cap. I think you need your own bottle.
What the fuck? Oh my God.
And that's what one of those printers?
3D printers?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but also, I don't know, because oftentimes you need a nicer one, and you need to buy a nice filament for it to get some, and just really be patient to have some good builds. You have to level that shit perfectly before you use it. You can't play around with that. They're very sensitive as well. So it's enough effort into them shits where I'm like, I don't know if I could be getting down with that.
One of the suburbs around here has a class and where you can just come in and use one.
My chocolate lady up the street here, she every at least once or twice a year has guests come in, and one of the guests that she has come in does 3D printing and trains people on how to do it. And also, if you were so inclined, you can buy a 3D printer from him at like wholesale price.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. Basically just her supporting local artists and stuff is how that rolls. So, and I think
Is that
I
how
want
she
to say
makes her
Kyle.
mold?
What's up?
Is that how she makes her molds?
No, because the 3D you can't the 3D. There's not a lot of food grade safe 3D printing technology available, and everything she uses has to be food grade safe. Yeah. So yeah, she gets her molds from businesses. That's just where she makes very interesting stuff. So
Maybe she. I was thinking like maybe she uses the filament to make a mold of the mold.
oh, that'd be fun. All right, let me give you another one. Am I the asshole for starting an argument because my boyfriend boarded a plane before me?
Oh no.
My boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 24 female, traveled by plane to go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. We checked in together and had different boarding groups. Man, I could have used this for the Thanksgiving ones I was doing the other day. Fuck. He was group 1 since he is active duty military. I was group 3 for being a platinum card holder on the airline. This is significant since both groups are considered priority boarding. We are both under the impression that boarding groups do not necessarily matter. We are seasoned travelers, very efficient when boarding planes, and the only thing that does matter is that we are on the plane before the main groups, which are the people who do not travel often and are generally slower when boarding planes. When the plane started boarding, they obviously called Group 1 first, the group for active duty military and unaccompanied minors, and my boyfriend gets up and boards without me. I was annoyed since groups 1 and 2 are both super small, and group 3, my group, usually gets called super fast, if not combined with group 2. After my group gets called, literally less than 5 minutes later, and I get on the plane, I told him he could have waited for my group to get called, and we could have just boarded together. He told me that it wasn't a big deal, and I said it was since we were traveling together. He had never done this before. Why would he do it randomly now? And he didn't have a reason besides it's for me. Why wouldn't I use that group? Even though my group is still considered priority boarding. We got into a mild argument about it on the plane. Nothing huge since we were, on a plane. He thinks I'm being an asshole for starting an argument and being upset about him boarding before me, but I think it's justified since he had never done it before and he didn't say anything prior. This isn't a new thing. We were where he just joined the military. He's been AD for 8 years. We have traveled together multiple times. I think I have seen him use his military ID for a discount one time in the entire time I've known him.
She just trying to come with all sorts of receipts to make her sound like less of an asshole.
Anyway, am I the asshole for being annoyed at him and starting an argument for boarding before me?
I would say yes. I mean, like, nothing really changes. This one's tough, man. Like, to me, so here, let me give you my thought process. As a man who's not in a relationship or anything, it sounds crazy to me that this would be a fight. But then I'm around people all the time who are in relationships, and this is the kind of crazy shit they seem to fight about. Mm. And it's like, maybe when you're in a relationship, the rules change a little bit, and like normalcy goes out the window, and you're just supposed to kind of like give and take more than you realize on little things. So I'm gonna go with she's not an asshole because she wants to be together.
So
I like that explanation.
I think it is weird that this motherfucker got on the plane without her. I would also think because he's active military and is flying with her, they probably should have and could have and should have just gotten on the plane together.
Mm-hmm.
This- I'm-
Do you think he got up during active military because he wanted everyone to know that he was active military?
I definitely think people who do that shit wants to show off and get that little bit of basically public.
I know not everybody's like, oh, kiss my butt, I serve. But there are some people who are like, kiss my butt, I serve.
Yes, and oddly enough, it's less of that normally than the other way. Like I said, most military guys I know, and I know a lot for some odd reason, are very like, nah, bro, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? They will take advantage of like today was Veterans Day, and I guarantee you, like the guys I know all went out to go get their free meals from various spots.
Oh yeah, or like people go to Home Depot and get the military discount shit. Like, get your money, boo. Like, you know, I'm not knocking people for that.
Yeah, but outside of that, I guarantee, I promise you, like I said, it rarely even comes up. You know, and so this dude definitely was on some let me stunt right quick. But also, I would think, like I said, most, if not all airlines would be like, oh, yeah, that's my partner. She's with me. You know, I'm active military. You know what I'm saying? We're boarding together. So I think, like I said, I do think it's weird that he would have boarded without her. But I also think it's weird she just wouldn't have came along with him. They wouldn't have sent her away. Like, I'm with him, and he's active military. Okay, go on. You're a military spouse or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's like getting USAA for boarding on the plane.
Yeah.
USAA.
So it's this is simply just not strong enough. Oh, is she an asshole for starting an argument? Yes.
Yeah.
That's the question that we're answering right here.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you are an asshole for starting a fight off of this bullshit because you didn't need to. You got your ass on a plane with him. It's weird that you didn't. Going forward, you should be getting on the plane with him.
If you act like you belong anywhere, you can go everywhere.
Yeah, for absolute certain. And Reddit, of course, thinks this person is an asshole. And this person edited their post. I accept that I was being a huge asshole and that I should have picked my battles and not started an argument over something so petty and small. I will be giving him a big apology this morning. Da-na-na-na. There you go. This person knew they was an asshole, or at least they discovered it as they went along here. Yes, it was assholery to start that fight. Her reason for being upset, I find, is okay, but starting a fight about it is what makes her an asshole. Feel me? Last one. Am I the asshole for calling out my ex's new wife for being unemployed? Okay, that all makes sense. Let's go. It's a weird title, but here's what actually happened. My ex and I broke up 5 years ago after a year-long relationship. He broke up with me, and I took it very hard back then. I can't say I did anything crazy aside from a few weeks after the breakup, getting really drunk on a night out and sending him some embarrassing texts. It was the worst heartbreak I had ever had, and it didn't help that he kept messaging me to be friends, even though I tried to set boundaries and say I needed space to heal. Anyway, that's all in the past. I can confidently say that I have indeed healed from that and am over him. He recently got married to a girl he started dating like 2 months after we broke up. Honestly, I'm happy for him. Good for them. Me, on the other hand, I've dated since then, but haven't been able to find anyone worth marrying. I haven't even had another serious relationship since him. He's still in the periphery of my social circle because we still, have a lot of mutual friends from uni. And sometimes I see both of them in social settings. While he and I have buried the hatchet and usually just chat when we happen to be in the same room for a bit, although we never text or meet up outside of these contexts, his wife and I have always treated each other with polite disinterest. I know she really doesn't like me. An important note about her is that she's been unemployed for a long time.
Oh.
I don't know if it's because she wants to be a stay-at-home wife, completely valid choice if that's her thing, or because she's unable to find work. But she hasn't worked in many years despite having a master's degree. I've been really able to advance in my career in the past 5 years, and I'm quite far ahead in my field for someone my age. and I'm very proud of myself because I work extremely hard. Anyway, here's the issue. The other day, a bunch of people went for drinks. I came. They were both there. When we were all sitting at the same table in the bar, someone I haven't seen in a while asked me if I'm dating anyone. I replied, no, not right now. My ex's wife quickly made a snark comment. Oh, it's okay. Some people just stay single in front of everyone,
Huh.
like 10 of our friends. Without missing a beat, I blurted out, yeah, just like some people are meant to stay unemployed. She got really upset, cried, and left. Her husband messaged me. Her husband messaged me that I should apologize to her for embarrassing her.
Nah.
I said I will if she apologizes first. He said she refused because what I said was worse, apparently. Am I the asshole?
Can I go first?
Please.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes, she's an asshole. One, you called that woman a girl right off the bat. And then you use the terminology good for her. Anytime anybody says good for such and such, it's not good for such and such. Nobody says good for and then means it. Then, obviously, what seems to be the reason for the breakup, as I can see it, is she probably worked way too much. Obviously, this guy wanted to be with somebody who probably doesn't want to work. That's what it seems like to me, and I'm just guessing there. But he fell in love with somebody who he seems like he could probably spend some more time with.
Box?
If we didn't have backstory of like, oh, she doesn't like me and yada yada yada, then I would be like, yeah, you are an asshole. I feel like the history makes it kind of like she was defending herself, but where like there's a line sometimes that I struggle with personally of being the bigger person and defending yourself. And in this case, I say, fuck it. Go for the throat. You know? I mean, what's the worst going to happen? The dude's not going to marry you? Too late. He already didn't marry you.
Unmarried, yes.
Shit. Of course, Daniel is who I'm going to side with here. That dumb bitch said some wild shit to you and had to get that clap back. I don't care. The rest of that shit means nothing to me. I don't care if she did say good for her. It is good for her. Good for her ass. But guess what? What would have been good for her is to have kept her fucking mouth shut with somebody who wouldn't talk to her, saying something to somebody else. But she couldn't. She had to say some shit.
I agree with y'all on that part, but I'm just saying, like, she was being an asshole before. She was rightful to say something to. I totally agree with that part.
And thusly, she caught the clap back, fucked around, and found out. Reddit, of course, does not think this person is an asshole. So Reddit co-signs with me and Box on that one, and that is the deal. In the realm of entertainment, I finished Doctor Who. I'm completely and utterly caught up on Doctor Who, which sucks because I don't get no more. Well, it doesn't suck because the Christmas special will be out here sooner than later, and that'll be nice. Of course, I watched Great British Bake Off. I actually watched it early this week because I managed to be spoiled on the damn show while making notes for this week's Creme Patissier, already available. You know, by the time you hear this, and actually we will have done we will have done this week's episode. Yeah. So we will have recorded. The one that came out today is what we will be discussing on the next episode. But because I'd already been spoiled, I went ahead and used a site that I had bumped into while searching for, while working on notes once upon a time, to go ahead and watch the episode early for America, but just on time for England. And that was dope. I liked that I got to do that, and I very much enjoyed doing. I enjoyed watching it early. And
was it any more like tidbits that we didn't get?
They have a complete Like I told you and Nick the one time, they have basically previously on, and they also have basically a coming soon like attraction, and also some obvious commercial cut points that we don't have because we have our now Netflix and we don't have
On
commercials
Netflix.
there. Yeah. And so like they get like it'll be like a like it'll pop on the like the lower left of the screen. It'll be a great British Bake Off because they're about to go to commercial. And of course, because we don't go to commercial America, we don't get those graphics. So I think that's neat. And as it turns out, something else I found out, and again I talked about this on Crimpetissier. It's a great British Bake Off podcast, and we're real proud of it. They have a whole goddamn British Bake Off Talking Dead like show called The Great British Bake Off, an extra slice. And so that's a good time to be had there. And so like I said, I watched this week's episode early. I was already aware, and I just watched it tonight with Vanessa because like I said, we watched Bake Off together. And watching it this second time gave me some perspective I was missing. Also, not perspective per se, but I was like, oh, I can see some things that because like I said, it's basically it's like a shitty 1080p copy, and when I watch it on whatever, it's probably not 4K, but it's probably a 2K on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? It's a sharper image to be seen, and it's on my TV, which is a larger screen and so forth. So it was like I said a good to rewatch and understand some things. So that was fun. Also, as always, I'm fully caught up on Andor. This week's Andor was probably one of the finest episodes of TV I have seen this entire year. I think if everything works like it should, two people on that show will both end up with Emmy nominations just based on their monologues on this episode. Andy Serkis and Skarsgård, I can't remember his first name, absolutely bodied this episode. They was acting, and it is so good. It's such a wonderful show. You should be watching Andor. Video game wise, I've been playing Fortnite and I've been going ham. I got another victory royale this week. I feel good about that. I got one, and Xander got one on my account. So like I said, it was a double victory royale week. We was eating today, and I got in the top three like 4 times today on my day off after I was kicking it with the homies. So I had a real good Fortnite day today. So that is what's up with me. What's up with y'all?
Nothing. Gonna go watch this Cavs game here in like 10 minutes, and hope they don't lose 3 in a row.
My hope is that they don't lose again, but I feel like Golden State Golden State, who has dropped like 3 or 4 straight themselves,
is gonna fight hard,
or like they've lost like whatever 3 out of the last 4 games, however that ends up working itself out. I feel like we are one of them teams that they were like, oh, we gonna play these motherfuckers, and I'm like, I don't need you getting good again on us. Don't do that on our back. Keep sucking like you've been sucking this season. But we shall see. We are a good defensive team, as it turns out, and it should be the Achilles heels of most teams, but it definitely has seemed to be the Achilles heel against Golden State this young season so far. Motherfuckers D up on Golden State, and they seem to not know what to fucking do right now, which is so strange because they are the champs. Let's let us put some respect on their name. Motherfuckers playing D on them motherfuckers is like they all of a sudden like, I don't know. Pass it to Steph. It's like at some point that is the smart play. The money is on your side on that maneuver. But it's like 5 other motherfuckers that should be doing some work for y'all right now. So we shall see where this game goes. I hope for a Cavaliers victory. I actually hope for a Cavaliers ass whooping. I want them to beat the brakes off of Golden State. I want that shit to be like one of them situations like, oh, this is embarrassing.
That would be nice, but I'll settle for a W.
All right, we'll go with that.
I just need Garland to show up. He's been fucking booty cheeks since he came back.
Man, I mean, he didn't look like he should. I mean, he's played well in his sort of, but also
he played well in one game. He's been either out of the lineup for injury or he sucked ass when he's been in.
But to me, on that first game back, his eye still didn't look right.
The first game back was the only good game he's played all year.
I know, and his eye didn't look right.
He got hurt 13 minutes into the first game of the season. Then he missed like 5 or 6 straight. Came back, looked great in the Boston game, his first game back. And then he fucking missed the next game, hurt again. Right. And then he came back. And then he played an okay-ish first game after the knee injury, like against the Lakers.
Yeah.
He was like okay, but he wasn't good. And then the other night against the Kings, he was fucking horrible.
Well, we hope for the best there that we can get them back in the swing of things. And you been watching, reading, singing, doing anything? But that King's Disease 3 is really, really, really good.
I've heard that. I heard that today. I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah.
I was listening to JID's album. As far as music goes, like entertainment, like I said, I'm always listening to some books. I'm always watching some documentaries. I was watching the Willie Mays documentary on HBO Max. Like I was watching this show on Discovery Plus called Oddities because I needed something just to throw on to passively. I have to watch the last episode of Atlanta, which series finale.
Yeah.
I need to catch up on Abbott Elementary. I need something to watch. I was thinking about just watching The Office again, but I probably won't do that. I'll get out a rest.
Abbott didn't have an episode this week, so if you watched last week, you're good already.
Last week is when Tyreek came back?
Yes.
Okay, well I'm caught up there.
Yeah. So you're good. They didn't have a new episode this week. So November sweeps is a weird month. You know what I'm saying? They do weird things in November for ratings and so forth. So none of that there.
I do enjoy Abbott a lot, but I kind of feel like a little bit they are squeezing too many of their characters into the show. It's like, I understand, you love working with these people, but let's stick with the formula that we had last season.
It did so well, and is now the premier, show on ABC.
Yeah,
and it does dumb numbers, obscenely high ratings numbers for a TV show for this day and age. You know what I'm saying? TV shows don't normally do numbers like this no more. It's weird that they're doing numbers like that. And so I think they are on some old, hey man, just come on, let's get everybody on while we can. And so I kind of enjoy that. Like I say, I like that they like, fuck it, bring back the cafeteria workers more often than ever before.
Oh man, I fuck with Reggie Conquest.
I know you do,
but on there.
Yeah.
I was talking about more of the other janitor. I like the janitor. Do I love him? I don't.
Well, he's a full cast member this season.
I know.
So that.
Oh, yeah. I know it.
Yeah. So that's been dope. The fact that they went to old girl's house this episode, not this episode, but the one where they went to her house to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
What
show did she used to be on?
I don't know, but she thick as fuck. It is a problem. She got a whole lot of ass, and they always keep her in them leather pants. And I'm like, what is going on here? Stop that. What is all that moving back there?
All that ass in them jeans.
Yeah, but that was about it. Like entertainment for this week, I was struggling. I was struggling trying to find something to watch. I was just watching Legends of Chamberlain Heights again on the
It's such a good show.
Legends, cook that nigga. It's such a good show. Oh yeah, and I finished The Life and Times of Tim again on HBO Max.
Yeah.
I've had HBO for many years now, and when HBO Go and HBO Max first was a thing, I used to tweet like, "Hey, what the fuck is The Life and Times of Tim at?" And when it came back, I've watched it twice already. So I love that show.
Let's see. There's the thing she's been on. The movie Eddie, The Parent Trap, Bruce Almighty, War of the Worlds, Grey's Anatomy, Glow, The Odd Couple, the more recent Odd Couple, Rizzoli and Isles. I don't know what that Nip
That
Tuck.
was a cop show.
So she's been just a bit of everywhere, man.
Yeah.
She was on the episode of Curb. So Love Boat, The Next Wave. So yeah, like I said, she's been Lisa Ann Walter is her name, and I find her much more attractive as a redhead than as a blonde.
I'm trying to think. She was on an ABC show back in the day where she played a mom.
Lisa Ann plays a mom in a lot of videos.
You so. She was, I guess, on that Emerald show that used to be on NBC. Y'all remember that? When Emerald had a sitcom?
No,
I do remember
that.
Yeah, for a hot second, Emerald Lagasse had a sitcom.
What the fuck did he do, man? to make him fall off so hard.
I can't call it, man. Well, let's go ahead and stick a fork in this bad boy. You know what it is. Get out there. Review this show. Thank you. That's all I ask of you. You can follow us on Twitter. We're good people. You can give us an email. All that information is at the beginning of the show. You can hear it every time you listen to the show. I guess maybe you might skip over that part of the show, so I guess I should repeat it here. It's a podcast at StateScrunchYandMilk.com. We got merch over at TeePublic. /users at Stage Crunchy Milk. It's all one word. Feel free to give us a call, 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We'd certainly love to hear from you. I guess I should check and see if we got any email. I should have done that before we started recording. Let me jump in there. And I don't see any emails to us this week. No worries. Our missing man is the real ODP. He is going on a date with his lady tonight. Big up. I hope they have a good time.
How is he doing that?
His cousin lives out in the general area where he's at, and his cousin's gonna watch the kids.
That's dope.
Yeah, so
Okay. I wish I had a cousin.
Maybe we'll have like a 25-minute date this time before the kids get the cousin to call and have them come pick them up.
Wow, Box, gangster. I was thinking it, so you ain't wrong. That is Tatum 216.
Yes.
That is Lunchbox 2099.
I'm Lunchbox 2099.
As it turns out, you are. I am Tay-Rail 713. I belong to the internet, which is why I say I'm the internet's Tay-Rail 713. You've just been podcast to, and I am certain you loved it. We'll catch you next time. Deuces.
Hey, what happened to you? You used to be beautiful.